kind of the same question. Why Oregon State? You obviously had options.
Yeah, I think getting in the portal was, something that it was, the right decision for me. It felt really good, but obviously in today's portal world, it can be stressful, for anybody, whether you're a top guy or just trying to find a place to go. So it was a up and down kind of roller coaster battle through that portal period, and came on the visit and kind of the same thing as walk, just meeting the right guys. Coach Marshall, talking me through the defense and plans for the group and for me, and just everything like that. Just kind of fit all the pieces of the puzzle. I love the guys. Coming from Nebraska is a little bit different setting for sure, but similarities between that D-line room that I was in and this edge room is just super diverse. You know what I mean? Got a lot of guys from different backgrounds, whether it's living backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, but just positions. Andy playing tight end and coming over, and other undersized guys that probably maybe played in the box or played offense and defense, that kind of thing. So just a diverse room and super competitive. So that was the big thing.
Walker said this is a good defense to play edge in. For why? What about this defense makes it a good place to be?
I think the defense is just super versatile, and the multiplicity of how we can use all the guys in our room. We have our base stuff, our pass down stuff like that, but we have multiple positions within our room based on the call and whatever scheme we're running like that. So I think that kind of versatile group that we have, being able to plug and play certain guys and situations and game plans, and finding the best matchups, whether it's coverage or pressures, movements, just rushing, all that kind of stuff.
With the way offenses try to spread you out these days, does that put extra pressure on you and your responsibility there on the edge, not to just get lost in space out there?
I wouldn't say pressure. Football at the end of the game, at the end of the day, is a game. So I wouldn't say you feel pressure because of how offense as a whole has transitioned and grown like that. Just have to be dialed in on everything. Super detail oriented, and all you're doing, pre-practice, during practice, film, watch, all that kind of stuff.
Did you feel like Corvallis was a good fit for you too? He was talking about that being a big draw for him.
Yeah, I visited Corvo out of JUCO after the season. When Trent Bray was the DC here, so had a good feel for the town and being close to home. And then coming from Nebraska, it's the flights kind of are tricky out there, and getting family and things like that to come out and be able to have those home ties. So I think geographically, just being on the West Coast again, short flights and making it easy for my family and being able to connect with people that I'm close to was big. And I think what's not to love here? You know what I mean? Small college town, a lot of energy though, a lot of great athletic programs that I buy into. I love going to all the events and stuff like that, and you got the coast an hour and a half away, you got the mountains, you can do whatever you want. So it's a great spot.
You mentioned you visited here previously when Bray was defensive coordinator, not head coach. Did that play a role in you wanting to come here to Corvallis when you entered the portal?
Yes, so definitely having those ties within the coaching staff was big. I think it's scary for a lot of guys that are entering the portal. It's already so much newness as it is, and then going into a program that might be under a new coaching staff, or full restaffing is tough, and that's kind of what I did at Nebraska. And kudos to all the guys that are at that program. I learned a lot and grew. I mean, you can't even explain how much I've grown physically, mentally, emotionally, all that stuff out there. But definitely having the coaching ties was big. When I came on my visit, he was the head coach primarily, and that was it. And week 1 or 2 or whatever it was, they made that switch to DC, and that was just, I lit up. You know what I mean? That was, for what the meeting that we had was, and it was an emotional thing for a lot of the guys, especially the guys that have been around the DC for a while. Coach Hayward definitely meant a lot to a lot of guys, and I had a great connection with him on my visit as well. So it's kind of that bittersweet, meeting, because I had a good relationship with him. I was looking forward to it, but at the same time, the football side of things when I visited after JUCO wasn't the issue. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was that was all dialed up into a T, and I love that. So just making that switch was definitely big.
This team isn't going to have a conference next year. It's kind of travel around and play games. As a player, what do you think about a year like this? We just play an a la carte menu of different teams.
I think it's awesome. I think it's a rare opportunity for a lot of guys, you know, being used to playing the same guys, you know, over and over, and the Big Ten is a, you know, big run-heavy conference, and you know, there's some monotony to that. You know, every year, you know, you're playing the same guys, the same scheme, that kind of thing. So I think, you know, being able to play multiple guys in different conferences, different areas, I think it's awesome. You know, you're gonna get all the different talent levels, all the different you know, coaching levels, and it's gonna be a tough schedule. No matter who you play, it doesn't matter, you know, who it is. So I'm looking forward to it. The travel is just gonna be that'll be something.
Yeah.
Samurai tattoo. What's the story? I guess there.
So one of my coaches at Nebraska said, super great quote, and it's from Miyashi. It's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And I think it's just, you know, that resonated with me, having the right mindset to be able to go in and handle business, you know, when you need to, and kind of that stay ready so you don't have to get ready kind of mentality. And you know, I love it. And then the symbol up top is means warrior. So I just think, you know, it was something that resonated with me, and I've heard the Miyashi quote, you know, for a long time, but it was cool.
Did you get done in Japan, or what's the?
No, Japan is on definitely a list of travel. My father had been out there for work and stuff, so I've always wanted to go out there, but no.
Sweet.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Nice to meet
Appreciate
you.
it. You too.